Hi and welcome back to Like Maria. Today Caroline's going to talk to us about the differences between film studies and media studies, particularly a useful video for those of you who are considering your A-level options at this point in time. Can you just start off by outlining what you see as the key differences and some information to help students make this difficult choice?
In terms of structure, these two courses are quite similar. So they've both got 2 exams and a piece of coursework, but largely that is where the similarity ends. Media studies, as you would imagine, is about all types of media. So you would study radio, video games, television drama in particular. There's some online media, newspapers, a whole range of different texts, and they are set texts that you do have to cover and you'll be examined on. There is a little bit of film in media studies, but it's mainly to do with sort of film marketing and the sort of industry side of film. So you'd look at a marketing campaign of a set film, for example. Whereas, as you'd expect, film studies is all about film. However, you haven't got much focus at all on the industry side. You might touch upon it, but ultimately it's not really an examined area. What you do look at is film history. So there'll be some short black and white films that you'll look at. There'll be some films from different cinema movements. But then you go all the way up to sort of more modern blockbuster films. So, for example, at the moment, my students are studying things like Skyfall and The Force Awakens. So there's a real range of different films there. But you're using the same kind of techniques and skills to analyse them and to think about what's going on within them. In terms of kind of language, the 2 subjects are a little bit similar there in that some of the film language that you use for analysis, you would also use for, say, television programmes. But of course, if you're looking at print texts, as you are with media studies, there's more terminology there as well. So similar skills, similar analysis, essay writing in both, but obviously different types of texts. And different requirements, obviously, from the exam boards. There's a bit more theory in media studies as well. However, some of the theory will cross over to film too.
Okay, thank you. So these subjects, some students will have studied them already at GCSE. Would you say that they're pretty much an extension of what they'll have done, or is there a lot of new stuff to cover?
Well, firstly, I mean, it doesn't matter if a student hasn't done it at GCSE, because not all schools offer it, not all schools offer film and media. So you can come to the subject completely new. A lot of the skills that you would use in sort of English, language and literature GCSE are skills that you would use in media and film. In terms of if you have studied GCSE media or film, you really are extending your knowledge. Obviously, the exam requirements is for more depth, more detail, more kind of unseen analysis, so kind of really thinking on your feet. And again, more theory and more set text, really. But there will definitely be some similarities that you can build on. But as I say, you can come to it completely fresh.
And is there a practical or coursework element here? Because one might imagine that in both of these subjects, that would be an important factor.
Absolutely. You will probably find, though, that there is more practical in media studies. There's more of a requirement to work within more than one type of media. So, for example, you might be asked to make a music video plus a magazine article that goes with that, or a piece of television drama and a website that goes with that. So the requirement is to work across different types of media there. So there's definitely a practical element in media studies. And also, if your teacher really loves practical work, you might find you get lots of little bits of practical work throughout the year as well. So hopefully you'll have a really nice time sort of producing practical pieces of media. In film studies, there's less of a requirement for practical. You can do a short film linked to some short films that you will have watched in class. So you can produce some practical work, but equally, a lot of the examples offer the option to write a screenplay. So actually do a written piece, a piece of creative writing, rather than actually getting your hands on a camera. I would also check with your school or college that you're intending to go to see if they do offer those practical elements, just because with film studies, not all colleges will do.
So that's really good advice there, Caroline, isn't it? To actually go and talk to your teachers for the specifics, because obviously syllabuses differ, and the way each college and school interpret them and choose texts, etc., will differ widely. If you're off to university and hoping to go to university, can you tell us a little bit about what doors film and media might open for you? You know, do they prepare you for all sorts of degrees?
Absolutely. There's no reason why you would have to go on to study media or film at university if you didn't want to. You know, it opens doors to all sorts of things that students go on to do. As I say, the skills of essay writing and analysis are valued for all subjects. Now, because media and film are quite new in the history of A-levels, sometimes they're not necessarily liked that much. So it is important just to check how your university views things like media and film, particularly if you're thinking about applying to the Oxbridge universities, for example. However, what I would say is if you want to go on to study media or film, then you know, you shouldn't worry about those Oxbridge universities. You know, you should be thinking about the universities that are brilliant for media and film studies. So there are plenty of universities that really specialise in those courses, where you will get a top quality education that will lead you quite likely into the media and film industry. And just to say a word about that, film and media is really flourishing in the UK. We're getting more and more films and television series made in the UK, and there is a huge demand for young people to work within the industry. And again, there is a massive amount of jobs available. So, you know, you can specialise in something, or you could leave your kind of specialism until much later on, but there are options there. So yes, it's competitive, but there are plenty of things out there for young people to do. So, you know, don't think to yourself, oh, I'm not sure I'll get a job, I'm not sure I'll do anything with media or film, because there are a huge amount of opportunities there. The other thing that I'm just going to mention, which maybe I should have mentioned earlier, is that A-level is just one route with media and film. There are lots of other courses that are very practical. So if you know that you want to have a huge hands-on experience, perhaps consider going for the BTEC route instead. So look at what your college offers. If you know it's practical that you want that as a career, then think about an alternative to A-level that might suit you better.
Okay, thank you. And I think it's really important to recognise that we are becoming in a world increasingly influenced by media as well. So we are going to need lots of media specialists and film specialists to help us analyse the texts that we find ourselves reading on a day-to-day basis and find ourselves watching.
Absolutely. I think more and more important these subjects have become. So don't listen to what is sometimes said about the subject. You know, really vote with your own mind, your own heart, really.
So just a last question, Caroline, which one do you prefer to teach?
Oh, that is a really hard question. I love teaching media studies because I love all types of media. I love television, and actually the boundaries between TV and film have become so blurred. There's that really nice crossover. I love teaching about print text as well. I like the variety, but if I could only teach one for the rest of my days, it would probably be film. I just really enjoy kind of finding out about film. It's a great way to learn about history as well. And I suppose as well, I love reading and books, and I suppose film is an extension of that, really.
And a real exploration of human life. So
Absolutely, yeah.
Must be really the sort of element that's really fascinating about it. Well, thank you very much for that. A really great overview today, and I hope that's going to help students make choices. I'm sure it will. If you've enjoyed that content and would like to hear some more, subscribe, and we'll be back soon with some more. So cheerio.
Bye-bye.